right there, that's one of Chuck Bomarito's stickers. He's got 3 of them for his channel. The one right next to it on the left there with the indicator, and then the one right down there. See that one right there? As we all know, Chuck's a certified nice guy. Well, why am I telling you this for about today is, if you see all those stickers I got there, I got a brand new one the other day, all the way from Australia. And and I put the envelope that was in on top of my desk with all those envelopes where people said, we got to have some money right now, it's just absolutely desperate that you donate something. And then before I got around to bringing the sticker out here, I reached over and I said, I don't want to donate any money to any of these guys here because I hadn't got any, you know. So I picked up that pile of envelopes and stuck them in the trash can. And then a couple of days ago I thought, well, I'll get that sticker and stick it up on my sticker board. But you know what happened? It went in the trash can by accident. It's rough being a redneck. Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, the resident redneck, and a master of no trades. And other than shooting the bull with you a little bit today, we're going to do a threading experiment, and I'm going to compare measuring the threads over wires to measuring the threads with a thread micrometer. And I don't know all the, you know, I'm an amateur machinist on account of the name of the channel, so who knows how it's going to come out or which I'm going to get the closest with, but I think I'll use a really common thread, and we'll set up the lathe and we'll single point that little booger and we'll measure it both ways and see if I can make it fit, okay? And I won't cheat and try a nut on it until I think I've got it the right size. You know what they say, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. There's one other thing that I forgot to mention. One of my viewers, a young fellow named Guillermo Ramirez, is trying to get his YouTube channel off the ground. Now he's into cars and sporting vehicles like 4-wheelers and things like that. And what he does, he puts all kind of fancy accessories on them. I guess you could say he'll pimp your ride. I think that's what young folks call it these days. And I'm going to put a link down there because searching, his channel's called Memo Makes, M-E-M-O-M-A-K-E-S, but it's awfully hard for me to find it searching with YouTube. So to make sure, I'll put a link down there if y'all want to go take a look at his channel. So let's get on with today's festivities. I'm 3D printing a whistle. I didn't create it, I downloaded the file from Thingiverse, so we'll see how it comes out. I hope it comes out better than the whistling top that I downloaded from there one time. We'll see. Have you ever had the urge to in-laws? I mean, sometimes things can be frustrating. Now, I'm going to change the names here to protect the guilty and the innocent, but one time we were on a trip, we went to Tumblebug, Texas to visit the in-laws, and while we were there I hauled everybody to the big city in my truck. And so we've been there all day and tired, and it's dark 30. I'm heading down an interstate, you know, maybe 10-ish or so over the limit, risking the wrath of the Texas Highway Patrol. And they're like John Wayne toilet paper, they don't take crap off nobody. And so I'm driving along there, you know, in the dark, wondering where in the heck is Highway 10,001. How come I didn't see it yet? And the in-law pipes up and says, well, where are you taking us? And I'm thinking, what stupid question of the year? Do you already forget? I said, well, I'm going to Tumblebug, Texas, of course. You know, I told him, I'm taking us back to Tumblebug. He said, well, you passed up the exit about 15 minutes ago. That's you know, that's when I really thought of, I could see visions of rending somebody into pieces and throwing the pieces out the window. and then backing over them, you know. 15 minutes I've been driving along, and this person knows that I have missed the exit and doesn't say one single word. Now I get to drive 15 minutes back the other way. I do 30 minutes of extra driving in dark 30 on an interstate highway. There's nothing interesting to see in the dark on the highway, you know. Yeah, that really happened. What we're going to do is a half 13, so I've got a piece of 1/2-inch aluminum there, and it might even be aluminium. But anyway, it was provided for me by one of my viewers. I have some fairly generous viewers there, and let me show you something. That's all donated metal right there, most of it from the same guy. Alright, I'm not as smart as Mr. Pete, so I don't remember to put the guy's name on it, and then I'm old, my memory doesn't work, but I think it was Clem Y.O. or another fellow that lives up there on the island off of Washington State. Can't remember his name. I think one of those two sent me the majority of that aluminum, but I don't remember for sure, and I sure don't want to hurt anybody's feelings about looking ungrateful. That's why I need to do like Mr. Pete, start writing people's names on things, if I can remember. Okay, so these are our weapons of choice. We've got wires, and we've got a thread micrometer. So we're going to make a half 13 thread. I'll read the specification sheet over there and see what size it should be, and I guess we'll work on a 75% thread, and we'll see how we come out if I even figure out doing it right, Now the instructions say select the proper wire size for either the number of threads per inch or thread pitch in metric. Measured pitch die equals measurement over wires minus decimal in the constant column. So I'm doing 13 threads. It says the wire size is 0.045, and we're going to subtract 0.06838 from our measurement to know if we've hit the right size. So I guess we're going to try to get there. All right. I'm going to trim off a little bit off the outside of this. It's exactly 499 right now, and I want to true it up so it'll be a little less than exactly a 1/2 inch, which is all right if you're using those Tractor Supply nuts. They don't like 75% thread anyway. All right, so it runs true at 0.490. That's where I had to cut her down to, which is all right. I've noticed all the commercial bolts are not exactly a 1/2 inch. They're at least 5/1000ths under that, and we're measuring for the minor diameter anyway, so I don't think that's going to interfere with our project. Let me get the threading tool on there and we'll go for it. Alright, so I got the gearbox set for 13 threads per inch, and I will just engage the gear there. I'm going to slow this thing down a little, I think. Well, as a matter of fact, I slowed it down a lot. The old guys are not that swift, you know. We'll thread slowly. All right. All right. Let me check here and see what I got. All the little teeth seem to line up with all the little scratches. So that looks to me like that's going to cut 13 threads per inch. So I guess we'll just get after it. Now, I need some lubricant, and we all know I use diesel oil for lubricant about everything out here. Alright, so darn it, I didn't set this thing, you know, for the normal 39 degrees. So let me go back and start that all over. No, by golly, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just regular do a plunge threading, because, you know, we're cutting aluminum. It's pretty soft. So I'm going to run this thing in about 10 thousandths for the first cut, and see how well that does for us. I'm going to be making a lot of spring passes here, because this is aluminum and it's flexible. Alright, I saved you guys the trouble of watching me run the threading tool back and forth and back and forth. I've got a store-bought nut here that I can put on there, and it runs on just fine. In fact, I feel like it could be just a bit tighter. But going by my threading chart, I still haven't reached the spot. It said 0.40. Supposedly the minor diameter is supposed to be 0.4056, and I measured this to be 0.417, which is the same measurement that I got on the factory bolt that I measured. So my fit's the same as the factory bolt fit. I tried it over the wires. I got some crazy numbers. The factory bolt measured over the wires came out to 0.4369, and this one measured over the wires come out to 0.443. And obviously I'm not holding the wires right, or not doing them right, or something. None of the, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd ever try to measure stuff over the wires on the threads, just because it's so hard for me to get the right number. I think the thread micrometer is going to get me a lot closer, because, well, I measured the commercially made bolt, and then I measured this, and they're right to the same thousandth. So my volts for the thread micrometer, let me bring the commercial volt over here. Now this is your standard hardware store bolt, so it's probably not, you know, the world's most wonderful, but as you can see, the nut goes on it, and it feels just like the nut feels there. So I guess that I'm going to have to conclude that for an old geezer like me, use the thread micrometer, check it with a nut. Because doing it over the wires, I don't have the knack for it, obviously. It's just too dang hard to hold them and all that. I even got the boss lady to help me hold the wires on this thing here, and we couldn't get a good grip on it, and I finally wound up with tape on the wires and holding them on there, and real mess. Alright, so let's do something else now, like check on Boudreaux or Bubba. Bubba dropped over to see Cooter one day, and Cooter's got 4 little kids, all of them under 4 years old. They're all running around the yard there, and Bubba, you know, he says, "Hey Cooter," he says, "I ain't seen you around lately. What are you doing?" Cooter's always says, "I'm washing dirty diapers." He says, "It takes me all day long to get them all washed up," and he says, "Then I got to start all over again the next day." Bubba said, "Well, Cooter, don't you know about them throwaway diapers? They got them down at the store. You just throw them away when they get dirty." Cooter said, "Well, I didn't know about that. I'll get me some of them, you know." And so 2 or 3 days later, Bubba stopped back by, you know, and there's the kids running around out there in the yard. And their pants look like they got some pretty full loads in them, you know. And Bubba said, "Hey, Cooter," he says, "don't you know you got to change them diapers now and then?" Cooter says, "No," he says, "not yet." He says, "It says on the box they're good for up to 23 pounds. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.